When we look at the GPT essay, we see paragraphs and organization that doesn't work. Now, it does do some of the things we talked about. We see these paragraphs are focused on a single topic, and there's a lot of descriptive detail. But there's no thesis, no guiding argument that is making all of this make sense. And there's no specific, concrete evidence supporting any of the points here. There's lots of descriptions, but nothing concrete. And so nothing proves the point that the author seems to be making, the AI author, about having a memorable birthday. So let's break it down. First of all, again, there's no real thesis here. Unless we say they're trying to argue that it was a highly anticipated idea. A highly anticipated event. But we see none of that anticipation. So if that was the thesis, the anticipation of this birthday, that is not supported. Now, that it's memorable, perhaps is being implied as a thesis, but again, it's not being stated directly. Well, then we would need something to support the idea of this being memorable. In this first sentence, we get the guests arriving, the sound of their arriving, signaling the beginning of a night to remember. But nothing here shows why it's memorable. Because the idea of a night to remember is the most important thing here in this sentence going by this first sentence. In this paragraph going by this first sentence. But none of the details here, although descriptive, create a memory or demonstrate the memory of the speaker. Backyard transformed in a haven of vibrant colors and shimmering lights with decorations adorning every corner. Balloons of every hue imaginable bob in the breeze, reflecting the joyous spirit of the occasion. Well, we don't see the color. We don't, every color, every hue imaginable. Where are these tied? How are these constructed? If the visual here is important, we need something specific. Are these arranged in arches that are tied between fences? Are they just free floating and there's going to be a balloon release? Where are these balloons? Why do they matter? So we have some lights, some vibrant colors and shimmering lights. Where are these lights? Can you describe it so we can see it? You're suggesting here, AI, ChatGPT is suggesting here that the lights matter, that the visual of this matters, but we can't see it. So there's no sense of this being memorable, just of this being sort of visually busy. Moving on to people. When people are described, we have cheerful sounds, we have a feeling of gratitude, but there's no emphasis on the personal. We don't have a specific person here. Back in this essay, we did have specific people, primarily the brother, the grandma, and the grandpa. But when another person is mentioned, Shelley and Mike, we also get them. They're specific, and we have specific actions or conversations tied to these people. We have the tea party with Shelley. We have the conversation with Mike. We have throwing the stuffed dog down to the brother and this sort of joy in that moment. These are specific, these are concrete, these are personal. None of that is here. We have vague general people drifting around with nothing specific or concrete. Food. This paragraph is focused on the topic of food, but we don't have any argument from the topic sentence. The scent of delicious food wafted from the buffet table, enticing everyone to indulge in the culinary delights prepared for the occasion. We don't see any indulgence. We don't even see anyone eating or being enticed. So there's no description of people taking seconds and thirds, because even though they're full, they just can't stop eating. There's no description of the taste. Why is this enticing people? Is it that these are smells from a shared memories that they have of going to college together or growing up on this block where everyone's grandmother baked lasagna. Why does this entice somebody? It's not enticing us, the reader. So that evidence doesn't support the idea in the first sentence. And we see that all the way throughout. And here, this final one, night unfolded in a series of delightful surprises and entertainments, from lively music that got everyone on their feet to games that brought out the inner child in all of us. Well, can we see that dancing? Or can we have a description of someone embracing that inner child and doing something silly or funny because they just feel so free? All of that is missing. There's nothing precise. There is nothing really concrete. There's no emphasis on people. We don't even know who attended. We don't see conversations or concrete actions besides singing happy birthday, which is perhaps the most generic thing you could have in an essay. And although there are different descriptors used, I mean, they progress through different ideas, there is a sense of sort of sameness or redundancy because, again, nothing is specific. We're just drifting through a cloud of details. So these paragraphs do not support topic sentences, do not lead to a thesis, although they have details and descriptions about topics. It doesn't work for a strong paragraph or for a paper.